Hello and welcome back to this next episode of the Living Life Being Human podcast, and I believe this is episode 42, which is me well on track. My aim is to have 100 podcasts by the end of the year, so I'm well on track with that, which is brilliant. So what's the topic of this week's podcast? And I thought I'd talk a little bit around mental health and what is mental health. I've been asked by quite a few organisations to do some short training videos or short courses on mental health, and it's a phrase that's bandied around an awful lot. Can you do something around mental health? And when I ask them specifically what it is that they want me to do about mental health, they usually then start to talk about anxiety, stress, depression, overthinking, all the negative parts of what sometimes we consider our mental health to be. And I find that quite interesting because to me, our mental health is an amazing thing that we have as human beings. We're all born with mental health, just like we're born with physical health. And I don't necessarily see it as all the bad stuff. I don't go to that place where my mental health isn't in a good place. My mental health is broken. My mental health isn't working at the moment. I don't have any mental health. Oh my God, where has my mental health gone? For me, our mental health is part of being a human being. It's like our physical health. We don't lose it. We might go through a period of something shifting our mental health. Like if we break an arm, then our physical health isn't at 100%, but it's not that we lose it. It's not that we don't have it anymore. It's just that something's happened that's kind of impacted on our physical health. So that's the same as mental health. So I think that's the first thing that I wanted to kind of clarify where I'm coming from when I'm talking in this episode about mental health, is just the guarantee or the perception that we all have mental health. We as human beings don't have a space in us that allows us to have a certain amount of mental health. My mental health isn't any bigger than the next person's mental health. My mental health capacity isn't a full 100% and yours is at 5%. It doesn't alter like that. Our awareness and our thoughts and our perceptions change the way that we feel about certain things. That's how it works. My reality, I only see through my eyes, and your reality, you see through your eyes. So it's about understanding our thoughts and beliefs maybe around mental health and how that then impacts on how our feelings about mental health and how we act and behave around our mental health. So that's the first thing, if that makes sense. So going right back to basics, which is something that I do. When we talk about depression and overthinking and anxiety and all the things that we as a human being experience, we're kind of looking downstream. We're looking at issues, we're looking at problems. And I often with clients say, let's go upstream. Let's go right up at the top and see what we can do up there so that we don't need to tread water in all the stuff that gets bogged down at the bottom of it. So my understanding of mental health is that we are born with it. It's part of us as a human being. We don't have a certain capacity for it. We all have the ability to access the same amount at any given time. Our mental health doesn't get broken. We don't separate it off. We don't lose it. What we can do is sometimes we forget that it's there. It's kind of like a net that catches us, that when things are thrown at us, when life circumstance means that our thoughts and feelings change, our mental health is there to enable us to keep going. Our mental health is resilience. Our mental health is our creativity. Our mental health is our ability to use our wisdom. Our mental health is all these things. It's part of us. So sometimes it's just about allowing our thoughts to quieten down so that we have that understanding and that capacity to connect with it. It's not that it goes away. I've spoken before in past podcasts about, we might, like today, it's a miserable day here in Lancashire, in the UK. It's persisting it down. That doesn't mean that the sun's disappeared. It doesn't mean that the sun has gone. The sun is out there somewhere. It's just that it's covered over with a lot of clouds, a lot of rain clouds, torrential rain, cold weather, all those sort of things. But I know that the sun is still up there. That's just a given. It's an understanding. And that's kind of like our mental health, that even when life throws us a curveball, even when the circumstances that we're living in at the moment are difficult for us, our mental health doesn't disappear. It's there. We just can't see it, or we don't feel like we have access to it in that moment. So I just wanted to explore that a little bit with you. I've been asked, as I said, by quite a few companies to do some short training or videos for children and parents around mental health, and how can I convey that over to children, because I think that's looking upstream. If we can encourage our children to understand what mental health is on a daily basis, then, you know, further on in life, as they're grown-ups, they hopefully will have that knowing and that understanding that, yeah, this is just a crappy time that I'm going through, but I know that my mental health, my innate wisdom, all those things are still there. I'm just not connecting to them at the moment. So I've been connected with a wonderful organisation called My Mental Health Rocks, which started, I think it's about 12 months old now. And their aim was to get in as many schools as possible, doing face-to-face talks with the children and parents and teachers within each school, and, you know, letting people be introduced to this understanding about what our mental health is. And I'm an ambassador for those, and they've allowed me and many others to just use their approach in any way that we see fit within our businesses. If we're working within the community or schools, or like me doing videos, that we can use this however we want to. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that with you. So they talk about our mental health and what is it? It's something that we're born with. It's something that everybody has within them. It's not that one person has more of it than anybody else. It's an unbreakable part of every human being. And I think children in particular are really good at accepting this and picking it up. So it's just exploring, you know, the parts of our mental health that we always have access to are our ability to be calm, our ability to be resilient, our ability to have wisdom and access that wisdom, our ability to have confidence, our ability to have creativity. All these wonderful parts of us as human beings that we have access to, that guide us through, you know, turbulent times, or times where something's amiss in our outside life. So for children, it would be something around maybe getting them to explore how they're feeling right now. You know, has something happened in school that's altered your state of mind and whereabouts you are? And then giving them access to, it's talked about as in superpowers, having the superpower of natural confidence, and the superpower of our natural calm, and the superpower of our natural creativity, and how we can use that. And when we talk about creativity, it's not necessarily creating something as in a picture or something out of wood or whatever it is, although that is a fantastic part of us as human beings. It's about being creative in our thought process. You know, working out that last time I felt like this is what I did, and it didn't really pan out that well. So what can I do? What else have I got inside me? My resilience, my wisdom. How can I work out a way through this that isn't going to impact on me like it did last time? So it's about, you know, working out with the young people in our life. One, what is mental health? You know, what do you believe mental health is? And the parts of us that we can use when things are happening. I like resilience. I think resilience is a wonderful thing. But to try and explain that to somebody, I'm doing it through my eyes and what I see resilience to be. Some people talk about it as, bounce back ability or being able to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and carry on. But for me, a big part of resilience is just understanding and knowing who I am as a person and how I deal with certain things. And that is unique to me. So when I say that my resilience and the way that I look at resilience is that I'm quite good at problem solving. I look for solutions. That's my resilience. For somebody else, their resilience might be something completely different. They might use the resilience in a way of expressing their feelings and that they're okay with doing that. And that's how they use that part of themselves to get through certain things. So, overarching all these things about what is our mental health and how can we access it and utilize it in everyday life is a certain understanding of who we are and how we cope with things. And that's a process. I know for me, the things that trigger me, I know how I react to certain situations. So when I'm having a feeling, I can trace it back to, oh yeah, that's what it is. That's why I'm doing it. I'm having certain thoughts about whatever it is that's happening, and that's creating my feelings. So I don't get swept away with things. So I see that as part of my resilience. I see that as part of my creativity and how I calm myself, which we all have access to. And that's the amazing part of this, is that you don't need to learn this stuff. You don't need to go on a course on how to be resilient. You don't need to go on a course on how to use your wisdom or your creativity, because it's already in you. It's just about being curious. Think back just for a minute about when was the last time you showed your resilience. It might have been something simple like going shopping and you were just feeling overwhelmed. It was really busy. People were bumping into you. You had a lot to do. You had to get home and get more stuff. And how did your resilience show up in that moment? And it might have been something like just taking a breath, calming down and getting on and doing the job that you knew that you needed to do in that moment. And that's resilience. So it's not a thing, it's just a part of us. And exploring that can be really quite interesting. So that's this episode that I just wanted to talk a little bit about our mental health and what it means to us. Just take some time to think about your beliefs around mental health. What do you believe it is? Do you believe that we all have it, that we're all born with it? Or do you believe that some people's mental health is more robust than somebody else's? Do you feel that other people have more mental health capacity than what you do? Or maybe you feel that you have more than somebody else, that maybe theirs is broken, maybe they've lost a bit, and just explore your thoughts and beliefs around mental health and what it is. And I shall be back in the next episode talking a little bit more about living life being human and what that can involve. So take care, have a good day, and I'll see you soon.